Celebrities go on talk shows all the time to promote upcoming projects and to get publicity for their brands. But that doesn't mean that those appearances can't go awry, and there are tons of times that celebrities completely embarrass themselves while on a talk show. And those are the moments we're going to be listing today. I'm Mackenzie, and let's get into this list. In at number 10, Cara Delevingne.
You do seem a bit irritated. Perhaps it's just us.
Yeah, I think it's just you.
This interview was an absolute train wreck, and because it felt like the interviewers were constantly disrespecting Cara, she was in savage mode the whole time. The interview started off with her being referred to as Carla. Yikes. Cara was being interviewed to promote the new movie Paper Towns with Good Morning Sacramento. I think the interviewers didn't mean to offend her with their questions, but Cara is clearly very sarcastic, so when she tried to be sarcastic, they took it as being rude, and then Cara got irritated as the questions became even more rude, so it was just really a downward spiral. The worst part was when another guy hopped into the interview and flat out asked her why she can't be more enthusiastic. Then someone else chimed in, quote, "You seem a little irritated. We'll let you go take a little nap and maybe get a Red Bull." Cara then decided to walk off in the middle of the interview, and I really can't blame her. And at number 9, Tyra Banks.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna try to grab him, okay?
No, what if he jumps on me? No,
So, hold on, ready? I'm gonna hold him right on my lap. There we go.
Oh my god, I don't like him either. I don't really like him either. Oh my god, he's scared.
In 2007, during an episode of The Tyra Banks Show, Tyra ended up completely embarrassing herself after an animal expert brought out a porcupine. I'm not sure if producers knew that she hated porcupines or if it was a coincidence, but once the animal was brought out, Tyra decided to get away from it by sitting on top of her couch. But the couch ended up disconnecting, tipping over, and Tyra fell to the ground. Everyone had a good laugh while the guests helped her up. It seemed that the porcupine wasn't really a threat at all, and it really didn't care that the whole debacle even happened. It was just sitting there eating its treats. Honestly, adorable. And at number 8, TJ Miller. This interview was incredibly embarrassing because TJ Miller was completely wasted during it, and you can tell Colbert was just trying to keep things under control the whole time. The interview starts off pretty uneasy, with Miller talking about how Colbert is his wife's favorite comedian, which is, a little awkward because Miller himself is obviously a comedian. Both of them had a laugh at that. But then TJ starts getting so annoying that Colbert genuinely looked mad. At one point, Miller is trying to make a joke about the Critics' Choice Awards, and while everyone is incredibly confused, he smashes an egg on his face, getting some egg on Colbert in the process. Miller finished off the segment by touching Colbert with his creepy skeleton hands. Definitely got secondhand embarrassment watching that. And at number 7, Danny DeVito. This one is pretty embarrassing, but more so adorable. This interview took place on The View, and it's hard not to crack a smile while watching it. The interview actually starts with DeVito admitting that he was hungover AF as he was out drinking with George Clooney the night before. Humble brag, I see. He also said he had 7 limoncellos right before the interview, and that they were finally catching up to him. He then starts talking about President Bush and making crazy facial expressions and noises to imitate him. Then when he literally looks like he's either gonna fall asleep or pass out, Rosie O'Donnell brought him over to cuddle. I'm sure he was embarrassed after this, but it just made me love him even more. And at number 6, Vin Diesel.
She's so beautiful. I'm in love. I'm in love with the interview.
This has to be my favorite interview moment of all time, and if you watch the H3 podcast, you've probably already seen it. The interview went down in 2016 at the Comic-Con experience in Brazil. The actor sat down with Brazilian journalist Carol Morena to promote his upcoming film, XXX Return of Xander Cage. But I don't think he actually said anything about the film, because the entire interview he was just talking about how the reporter looked. Basically, right in the beginning of the interview, he blurts out, quote, "God, you're so beautiful." Then talking to the crew, he added, quote, "My God, she's so beautiful, man. Am I right or wrong? Look at her. How am I supposed to do this interview? Look at this woman. She's so beautiful. Talk to me, baby." And trust me, that's literally the tip of the iceberg. The reporter talked about the experience in a YouTube video where she said that she didn't know how to react to his advances, so she basically just laughed the whole time. This one is honestly impossible to watch without cringing. Halfway number 5, Dakota Johnson. You all should know about this cultural reset by now, because this interview kicked off Ellen DeGeneres' downfall. The interview kicks off normally with Ellen asking about Dakota's 30th birthday party. Ellen asked how the party was because she wasn't invited. Without a second thought, Johnson claps back, quote, "Actually no, that's not the truth, Ellen." Then going on to say how she made a point to invite Ellen after Ellen gave her a ton of crap about not inviting her the year before. with Dakota adding, quote, "Ask everybody, ask Jonathan, your producer." Then Ellen's producer confirmed she was invited, with Ellen responding, quote, "Why didn't I go? Oh yeah, I had that thing. The party was probably in Malibu. That's too far for me to go." The interview managed to somehow get even worse when they started talking about Tig Notaro, and Dakota said that Tig was her favorite comedian, making the interview even more uncomfortable to watch. And at number 4, the Kardashians. This interview is so legendary, I'm sure you've seen it memed online. Everyone always asks what the Kardashians are famous for, and the common answer is that they're famous for being famous. But things got ugly when Barbara Walters asked the same question to the Kardashians. While Barbara Walters was interviewing the Kardashian family as a part of her 10 Most Fascinating People 2011 special, she just said what we were all thinking. While talking with the family, she asked, quote, "You don't act, you don't sing, you don't dance, you don't have any, forgive me, any talent." And the Kardashians definitely did not disagree that they don't have talents, but Khloe did kind of clap back, adding, quote, "But we're still entertaining people." Awkward. And at number 3, Madonna. David Letterman loves poking fun at his guests, and it seems that in this interview, Madonna tried to give him a taste of his own medicine, but it failed horribly. Their 1994 interview is one of the most controversial in history. Madonna also broke the record for saying the F word the most times on live TV, saying it 14 times. Letterman started off the interview with a jab, saying that Madonna had, quote, "slept with the biggest names in the entertainment industry." From there, it went downhill. Madonna came on stage with underwear behind her back and said, quote, "I'm only here because I couldn't escape this. Don't flatter yourself." Then Letterman started repeatedly asking her to kiss a man in the audience, to which she responded asking why he's so obsessed with her love life. Madonna then tried to get Letterman to smell her underwear, which he did not. After tons of swearing, sexual innuendos, and going way over time, they finally got Madonna to walk off stage. And at number 2, Wendy Williams. This moment was probably a little embarrassing for Wendy, but it was incredibly shocking and scary for those that were watching it. During a live broadcast of the Wendy Williams show, Wendy suddenly fainted to the ground. It was a Halloween episode, so Wendy was wearing a Statue of Liberty costume. She started to introduce the next guest, but heavily slurred her words. All of a sudden, she gets a terrified look in her eyes and starts stumbling, then suddenly she falls to the floor. Thankfully, after she was looked at, she was fine. She continued filming the show. The next day she addressed it, saying, quote, "I'm a 53-year-old middle-aged woman going through what middle-aged women go through, if you know what I mean. The costume got hot. All of a sudden, right before passing out, I felt like I was in the middle of a campfire." Also adding that anyone who was trying to take her purple chair was gonna have to wait a long time. And finally, number 1, Jimmy Fallon. This one's a mix of embarrassing and endearing. While Nicole Kidman was on the Jimmy Fallon show, they were reminiscing about the last time that they met. When they were both going over their version of the night, Kidman ended up admitting that she had a huge crush on Fallon at the time, and she even asked their mutual friend to set them up on a date, which was the time that they actually met up. However, Fallon had no idea it was a setup. He thought it was just some sort of, business conversation, so he was a perfect gentleman and never made a move. Throughout the entire interview, Jimmy is realizing that he had a shot at Nicole Kidman, but totally blew it. Kidman even said she assumed that he was gay when he didn't make a move on her. So that's all for the list. Let me know your thoughts below. But before I go, I'm gonna shout out some comments from my video on celebrities that ruined their careers with plastic surgery. Jamal said, "After the FX series Nip Tuck, I'm definitely not having plastic surgery, and that was decades ago." Actually, something that I just learned that I'll share with you guys. So you know how Kanye West is releasing Donda, the album for his mother. His mother Donda actually died due to complications from a plastic surgery. So keep an eye out for that. Movie Man said, "As far as Ashley Simpson goes, it wasn't because she had surgery, it was because she got caught lip syncing on SNL. You are completely right, that was like one notch and then the surgery was like another notch. It was just, yeah, a lot of bad stuff." Someone else says, "Cardi B recently had work done on her face. She looks like a completely different person." So I did a bit of research because I didn't really, see that anything much had changed. And in the pictures that I saw, it looks like her eyes are like slanted like this. Like she, how the cat eye look is in? She's like made it so cat eye, it looks like alien-like. I don't know. Crazy. Alright guys, that's all for the video today. Thanks so much for sticking around if you made it all the way here. If you liked the video and you want to see some more, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith. Make sure to check us out on social media, and I'll catch you all in the next one.